Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our first live via Zoom video production training from beginners to masters. Can you all hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, great,
Yes.
great. If you wouldn't mind all turning on your camera so I can see who is here, so we can follow along. Hello, everyone. Hi, Riley.
Hi, how are you today?
Excellent, excellent. And who do we got in Studio B? Who's in Studio B? Unmute yourself in Studio B. All right. Studio B, that's the control room. We got someone in the control room right now. So whoever you are, I'm sure you'll figure out how to unmute yourself. And who else do we got? We got Emma there and Francis. Is it Francisco? Who are you? Introduce yourself. All right. We got some people there not unmuted. So anyway, so this is what we're going to be doing. So you're aware, this is a 12-week class that we are live via Zoom, and we're on the Brockton channels live. My name's Carl Pride. I'm the Media Center Director at Brockton Community Access, and it's my pleasure to be with you on this journey for the next 12 weeks. In these 12 weeks, there's a lot of learning that happens. There's a lot of learning that will happen in every hour that we're together. We're together every Wednesday from 7 to 8 o'clock. However, every week there'll be homework assignments, which is an opportunity for you to learn the equipment that we have at BCA and for you to learn better about the equipment that you have. How many of you have, just a show of hands, how many of you have your own video camera? I see two. Okay. So two people have video cameras. How many of you have a smartphone? Okay. So let me re-ask the question. How many of you have a video camera?
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
All right. All right. So, you know, at BCA, we have the expensive video cameras, the ones that go on the shoulder and you can take out in the field. However, as far as technology goes, we all have, majority of us have access to a video camera. And in today's world, what you can do with the iPhone and with some of those Android phones, you can do some pretty amazing video. This class, I'm going to be talking about what cameras we have at BCA and the equipment that you currently have. Okay. I'm not just going to be talking about the how-to, because believe it or not, the how-to of what button to press is actually the easiest part of video. The more complicated part of video is putting together your stories. Okay. On this call, I know I have Emma, who actually is, she's produced a documentary. And, you know, we have Mike, who's done a lot of video production, and, you know, and it's quite possible that the others that are on here have done video production. How many of you have done some sort of video before? All right. All right. And one at a time, let's start with Ingrid. Ingrid, you unmute yourself and tell me, what projects have you done?
I did with the homeless. Follow the my first production was um, making aware the need of the homeless in the Brockton community as we were coming upon the winter season. And I know along with the pandemic and everything that folks have, we could have, just step over, and I don't want to say overlook it, but it was a great opportunity in highlighting the needs of the homeless.
Awesome.
And then the second production that I was there, and that Mike went also, and it was highlighting what the Brockton government is doing for the homeless as they acquire this uh, new an old hotel that is being transformed, even as we speak right now, into permanent shelter for the homeless.
Awesome. All right. Who else has produced something? Talk to me. Don't be shy, people. Or else I'll start picking on each one of you.
Well, my name is James. Hello, everybody.
Hey, James.
Hi. I've done like small little productions. I actually went to the this was like a little while ago. I went to the Million Man's March. Um, and I actually recorded the my whole experience there. And I got a little bit of help of just being able to edit it, but it came out pretty good. So that was one experience of just some video productions that I did.
Excellent. All right, Mike. What's your Mike? You've done a ton of these things. What's your favorite?
I love doing stuff that involves kids. That they show how much fun they're having. Just recently they had an opening at the Funzy Trampoline Park. That was pretty fun to go in there and look at the different structures that they have, and all the kids are having fun jumping up and down, playing some dodgeball, basketball, what have you. It was fun to cover that event.
Excellent. All right. Next.
I made some production for my church.
Okay. You've done some videos for your church?
Yeah. Because for now I am the a media team manager.
Okay. Awesome. So is that what you want to start doing more of? What are you looking to create more of?
I don't know. So I have been a graphic designer for around 15 years. I do some video too on Premiere Pro and Final Cut, but I want better integrate myself in the television.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Emma, how about you? What's your favorite project?
It's hard to pick one, but I mean, I would say my favorite was probably my documentary that I just did. Awesome. It came out in July. It took a long time to produce. It took about 1.5 years. But it was fun. I like it. It was like 90 minutes, so it was a little bit bigger than anything else I've done, but
excellent. All right. How about you, Riley?
I think my favorite production that I've done is when I was first getting into the idea of film. I found a bunch of old VHS tapes from like family videos. So I got this thing on Amazon and I like digitized them. So then I was able to make a little edit for a Christmas video, which was really fun.
Awesome. Okay, so like just talking about the generational gap.
Mhm.
I did the similar thing, except for I took my family videos, which were on things called reel-to-reel film,
Oh yeah.
and I converted them to VHS. So I created those VHS videos that then you learned how to edit. So the progression of time. Hey, how about Isaac? Isaac, what's your favorite? Isaac?
I have so many, but
I'm
I
sure
would
you do.
say I would say working on This Is Brockton.
Working on This Is
Um,
Brockton. Awesome. You're
yeah,
opening for This Is Brockton.
yeah.
Okay.
Which was a magazine show we used to do at Brockton Community Access, and we still do.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Awesome. Awesome. So it's great to see that people that are on here have all done something to begin with. Okay. It's great to have a starting point. Okay. Class 1 is all about the basics. That's where we're starting. We're going back to basics. For some of you, you've seen this all before. So some of you have actually watched what I'm about to show. What I'm going to show you is about 11-minute video. And it talks about, well, you'll see what it talks about. It talks about how to shoot better in different aspects of video production. So we're going to show that. And then after that, we'll have a little discussion about what we saw. And then we'll start talking about where we want to go from here. Okay. So with that being said, let's see if I can, let's see. I am going to share a video. If I do this correctly. There it is. Desktop. And here we go.
G'day, my name's Nat. Today, we're going to be learning how to make your shots look a lot better by using something called framing. Framing is basically deciding what the audience sees through the eyes of the camera. We'll take a look at the best ways to frame an interview, as well as some general tips for when you're shooting almost anything else. And don't stress, if you don't have an expensive camera, these rules apply to anything you use, even your phone. If you are using your phone though, make sure you shoot horizontally. Most TV shows and movies are still shot horizontally because it fills our field of vision more than stuff shot vertically. And when it comes to framing your subject, just remember, you are the eyes of the audience. Me? Yes, you. Some people like to put their subjects in the middle and have them face the camera. This can feel personal, like the person is talking directly to the audience, but it's not always the best way to do an interview. Other people will stand off to the side and have the subject talk to them. Most people will prefer to talk to a person instead of directly to a camera, so this will probably feel a little bit more natural. When you're interviewing someone, it's always safest to have the camera at eye level to your subject. Anything else can just look really weird. And don't get too close either. Okay, now we're too far away, we can hardly see them. There we go, that's perfect. Don't change a thing. I said don't change a thing! Don't you know the rule of thirds? No? Oh, well, allow me to explain. The rule of thirds isn't a rule, it's more of a concept designed to make your shots look more interesting. It's a way of framing that splits the screen into 3 sections this way and 3 sections this way. The idea is that you want to get your points of focus as close as you can to one of these 4 intersecting lines. Why? It's a long story, and it actually has a bit to do with maths and science, but just trust me, it'll make your shots look a lot better. But why don't you judge for yourself? Here are some shots with the rule of thirds. And here are some shots without. But like I said earlier, it doesn't always have to be perfect. Movement can make your shots more interesting. It might be a zoom in or out, a pan left to right, or even following your subject around. But just make sure they know you're there. However, movement can be hard to edit, so if you're just starting out, it's safer to keep things still. Sometimes the simplest shots are the nicest. If you do decide to move around though, just keep the camera still for 10 seconds before or after the shot. You'll be very thankful when it comes time to edit. When using the rule of thirds for interviews, make sure there's space in the frame in the direction your subject is looking, not behind them. And make sure their head is in the right spot, not too big, too high or too low. And keep an eye out for any distracting things in the frame. Like for example, this plant that looks like it's growing out of their head. If you're interviewing a few people, switch sides between each person so that they're not all looking in the same direction. That looks a bit weird. It just looks a lot nicer to mix things up a bit. Let's try that again. See, that's a little nicer. Now let's quickly recap the things we've touched on in this video. The rule of thirds can help make your shots look better and more balanced. When it comes to movement, it's safer to keep things still, but if you do decide to move the camera, make sure to keep it still for 10 seconds before or after the shot. There's a difference between direct and indirect eye contact. Direct eye contact is good for making a connection to the audience, whereas indirect contact is a little bit more common and can feel more comfortable for your subject. Make sure there's some space in the frame in the direction that your subject is looking and not behind them. Also, get their head in the right spot and ensure that there's nothing distracting behind them. And when you're interviewing more than one person, mix up the angles a bit so that they're not all looking in the same direction. So there you go, that's framing in a nutshell for you. And remember, these are just a few concepts to help kickstart your creativity. Every interview you do will be different, but with a few problem-solving skills, you can shoot just about anything. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you got something out of it. This is the start of a new series we're doing on how to make your own news stories. We're starting with how to shoot a news video, so stay tuned over the next couple of weeks as we look at things like lighting, sound, and location.
Stay put. Hey everyone, video is taking over the internet if you haven't figured that out by now. Whether you're making a YouTube show, producing a short film, or shooting some stock footage of your pets. Here are the essentials to producing great looking video. I know you're excited to get started with your camera, but not so fast. You gotta learn those camera's functions first. Time spent fumbling around with your camera is time wasted. You can learn different techniques and styles the rest of your life, but not until you know how to use the tool. Composition is how you position your subject within the frame. I'm center justified now because I'm talking to you. And now I'm right justified because I'm talking to her. Hey, Ryan. Hey! Here are some tips on how to compose your subject. This is called the rule of thirds, and you want your points of interest to line up with the intersections or the lines themselves. Shoot with a clean background. If a busy background is unavoidable, open your aperture to make your depth of field more shallow. Use lines and patterns to your advantage. They can balance the scene and help guide the viewer's attention toward a subject. Lighting is the most important factor when you're shooting. It can make or break your shot. Hey! Sorry. See what I mean? When shooting midday, the light and shadows are more harsh. Sunrise and sunset, aka golden hour or magic hour, are going to give you the most even and beautiful light. If you must shoot during midday hours, you can use a reflector or a diffuser to soften or bounce the light for a better image. When it comes to camera movements, always use a tripod. It doesn't get much easier than that. I know I'm not using one now, but that's because I'm intentionally going handheld for more personal style. But when in doubt, use a stable base to get steady shots. If you are shooting something like an event, an action scene, or a horror movie, then you may want a more shaky cam look and style. Throw in a pan, tilt, or zoom, and you can do almost anything to add some great movement to your footage. Angles. There are many different angles at which you can shoot your subject. You can go low, you can go eye level, you can go bird's eye view, or you can do a Dutch or tilted angle. Whatever it is, it gives the viewer a different perspective on the scene. Just make sure that it's motivating. If lighting is the most important thing when it comes to shooting, then number 2 by far is audio. Having bad audio can really ruin a perfectly good shot. Now if you're in a loud environment like this, you may want to consider upgrading to something like a wireless lavalier mic. And that's what we're hearing right now. It's a little better, don't you think? Practicing your shooting is the best way to get better. Shoot everywhere in all kinds of environments. Change your settings around and experiment with your image, and don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone because you'll learn a lot by challenging yourself. That's all for now, you fabulous filmmakers. Now go out there and shoot.
All right. All right. So that was some great techniques. It makes sense. Everyone followed along? Yeah. Yep. So when you've shot, are you practicing the rule of thirds? Is that something that you're even aware of when you've been shooting?
No, not really. This is the first time I heard about it.
Well, kind of, because when you're kind of taking a picture on your cell phone, you kind of want to like angle it at a certain angle, not just like, you know, video shooting, but sometimes like, hey, I don't like that picture. Do you go back or step forward? So it's kind of almost like the same thing.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. The rule of thirds by far is the most it's by far the biggest rule of video is understanding the rule of thirds and understanding that you divide your screen into 3 portions. Like right now, I'm centered in my screen. At least I should be centered in my screen. I should not be over here, because if I was over here, then you would say, well, what's going to be over here? You know what I mean? And that goes not only for shooting video as a video production guy, it also goes for setting up for Zoom. How many times when you're on Zoom, you see, let me make an adjustment here. You see this, you know, where the person is, you know, at the bottom of the screen, and you're like, well, who is that guy? You don't expect the little hands to be right there. Like, where'd he go? You know? So it's important when you're doing on Zoom that you're centering yourself and adjusting your Zoom camera as well. So in production, we want to know about our cameras. In the videos there, the Pond 5 video, he talked a lot about know that your equipment inside and out. Okay. For the 2 of you that are at BCA, when we get done with this session, I'm sure Isaac, who's downstairs, can bring out the portable camera for you to take a look at. For those of you that are at your house, by all means, come down to BCA, or anyone that's watching us live on the channel or on YouTube right now, come down to BCA and we'll show you the cameras that we have. Okay. It's important for you to look at the cameras, you know, and use that smartphone of yours to read the manual. It's one of those things where, you know, manuals are great for understanding, and actually touching and playing with it is how you're going to learn more than anything. Does that part make sense? Yeah. Just touching it and playing with it. Now, with our cell phones, you know, I use my camera on my phone a lot. There are additional apps that you can download to make your, you know, cell phone camera look even better. But just the basic camera functions, when you're on your regular cell phone, you can click on an area and have the light adjust. Have you done that, where you've clicked on an area on your cell phone and you notice that it adjusts the light based on that? That's adjusting your iris or your aperture. Okay.
Some of the phones do it automatically.
That's correct. They do it automatically. However, if you press in an area, it will adjust the light to that spot where you adjust it.
Okay.
So playing with your cell phones is great to just learn the different things that are there. You know, on cell phones, they have the ability to do what's known as zebra lines. Zebra lines is on the bigger video cameras is what you'll adjust for the amount of light that you have. However, for most phones, they have a zebra line option. You just have to Google it or Apple it or whatever to find how to adjust zebra lines. The biggest thing I want you to do this week is I want you to start looking at the equipment and start figuring it out and have your top 5 questions ready for next class. That's the biggest thing. Okay. Every week, you're going to have a homework assignment, and it's going to seem like I didn't give you enough information to do the homework assignment. And guess what? That's true. I don't. Because I want you to figure it out. Because believe it or not, I know that you guys are all awesome at doing video. And the biggest critics for doing video is who? Yourself. Exactly. Because how many of you watch TV?
All day.
All day. Okay. In COVID language, how many of you have sat and watched a whole series on Netflix?
Yeah.
You know, and just sat there for the whole day and been like, oh my gosh, I just watched 13 hours, but I finished the series. You know, video production is what we're used to seeing. However, we're not necessarily used to doing. Correct? We want our videos to look like a Netflix original, right? We want it to look like this is a full-blown production. Okay. So that's where we're going to take this to. That's where I want you to end up by the end of these 12 weeks, is we're going to move fast and hard. And every week, you're going to see an increase in what you're doing, that by the end of 12 weeks, you're going to be like, I'll get an Emmy no time. You know, that's where we want to go. A Golden Globe, or what's known in community access is what's known as a hometown video. Okay. It's a hometown award. That's where we want to go. Yes.
Are there like a special camera that they use for like Netflix, like movies, or is it just like, you know, regular cameras?
There is a special, they do have special cameras. There are higher end cameras that are done for Netflix. The camera, I'll pull that up next class. I'll have the listing of cameras for Netflix. We don't have those cameras at BCA. However, you can come up with a pretty darn close result. Now, there's cameras that are certified full frame cameras, is what they're called, full frame cameras. I myself personally, and I know Isaac also has one, we have what's called the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, which is a very high-end camera. However, that's not considered Netflix ready. However, it shoots well, Isaac's shoots in 6K, not just 4K, but 6K, which is incredible. But the equipment can tell a great story, but is not able to tell a great story. First, you got to be able to tell a great story. And framing, how you frame your shots, how you edit your shots, that's what's important first. So that's where we're going. Okay. To produce something that could be award-winning does not mean you have to have that, $100,000 camera. So moving on, where I want to go now is I want to talk to you about who's on your team. So who has a team of people that you work with? All right. I didn't see a lot of hands going up for this.
I think I work with everyone.
You work with everyone. Okay.
I belong to everyone.
So what I want you to really concentrate on this week is who's on your team. I want you to identify who's on your team. Now, for your team, you want to come up with 3 to 5 people that are your models or your actors, people you work with that will be in front of the camera if you ask them. Yeah.
You have a quick question, bro.
I didn't know if you meant for this or people that we work with in general right now. Do you mean for like what we're going to be doing with working with learning the cameras and things like that?
Yeah, for doing anything with cameras, in your group of people you work with.
Okay.
Yeah. So you want to come up with a list of people that would like to be in front of the camera. Okay. Now, for some of you, you might be the person that really wants to be in front of the camera. Okay. Which is great. However, that leads to the second part, which is who is your team that also likes to be behind the camera? Okay. You really want to build your network. How many of you heard the term, your net worth is based on your network? Yeah, exactly. So it's just like in business. Video production is a business, whether you're doing it for community access or you're doing it for broadcast, whatever you're doing it for, you want to build your team. And it's all about creating those partnerships and connecting your people. So that being said, if you have other people that want to help in the background, bring them up to speed, get them on next week's call, tell them what the homework assignment is and get them on the call with you to build your network. Okay. You want to work on getting people that like to be in front of the camera and people that like to be behind the camera. Okay. That makes sense? Yeah. Riley, who do you got?
Well, am I frozen? Sorry.
Not anymore.
Okay. Well, I go to school at Lesley University. And I'm in the film. I'm a film major there, so it's a lot of like my classmates and stuff. And we just like work together. We try to like delegate as much as we can to like one person having like a specific role, but in the end we like end up helping each other out.
Oh, awesome. So very similar to doing it in a class setting. That's exactly what you want to build, is that group, that network. So that's awesome that you already have that built in. As far as I just got distracted by my phone, so I'm going to shut that off right now. As far as my network, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my network. I have people that like to be behind the camera. BCA is loaded with people that like to be behind the camera. Mike, Emma, Isaac, they love to be behind the camera. Athena loves to be behind the camera. Thomas loves to be behind the camera. I can call on any one of them in Brockton to work on a project. I have another group of people that are in Las Vegas that I call on whenever I go to Vegas and I want to work on a project. I have people in LA that I call on whenever I want to work on a project that are behind the camera. Then in Brockton, in front of the camera, I'll call on Sarah, who's our programming, a programming genius at BCA. I'll call on Miles Davis. He's likes to announce. He's big in Brockton. I'll call on, there's a ton of people in Brockton that I can call on that like to be in front of the camera. The balance that I always am working on is who else can I get behind the camera? Like I want to be able to call on Riley sometime and say, hey, I want you behind the camera with me or operating video. Because there's nothing like, oh, I have a brilliant idea. Now, who am I going to get to work with me? Bigger ideas come with bigger teams. So if you start building your teams now, it's to your benefit. Okay. So that's all I'm going to say on teams for now. The other thing I want you to do this week is I want you to start, pardon me, I want you to create a video. Yep. You're going to dive right in. And I want you to email me a video, 30 seconds. Now I'm not saying 30 seconds or an hour. No, I only want 30 seconds. Okay. It can be 29 seconds. It could be 35 seconds. However, that's it. I want 30 seconds of video. And I want your video to have meaning. I want you to tell me something with your video. However, I don't want any sound. So I want you to tell me something in video without any sound. So you're going to do a silent 30-second video. Okay. And there's got to be meaning to it. Okay. Got to have meaning to it. Oop, I went to the wrong button there. There we go. 30 seconds with something that has meaning behind it. Okay. So you've heard the saying, a picture. What's the saying go? A picture what?
Paint 1,000 words or something like that.
Right. 1,000 words. If a picture has 1,000 words, how many words does a 30 seconds of video have?
A lot.
Wow. Think about it, because if it's 30 frames a second, okay, that's 30,000 words a second. Okay. So, yeah, you want to create something with video, and that can be shot on your phone or on a camera at BCA. Okay. And you're going to send that to, let's see here. You're going to email it to cpride@bcatv.org. Okay. So you're going to do 30 seconds of video. It could be on your cell phone. It could be on the video camera at BCA. And you're going to email it to cpride@bca.org. So here's a question for you. How many of you have emailed video before? Okay. Not everyone's hand went up. That's great. That means you're going to have to figure it out. Okay. And ask for support and you'll get it. Okay. However, you're going to need to figure it out and you're going to email me a video. This is first step in learning, is doing. So we're going to do a video, 30-second video, and you're going to tell a story in 30 seconds. Now, 30 seconds of video, that does not mean you have to have 30 different shots edited. It could be one continuous shot for 30 seconds. Okay. I don't know what you're going to do for your 30 seconds. However, you're going to tell a story. And we're all going to watch them. I would like them all emailed to me by Tuesday next week. That way I can prep them for class. We'll watch them and we'll talk about them. And we'll start getting into, this is what this means. What could we do different? The whole process. Okay. This week, let's just dive right into the homework. I'm going to cut away to these. Let's see here. Go back to here. There we go. We're going to, this week, the homework. Identify the camera you have access to and start reading all about it, the buttons and the menus. Okay. Everyone got that one? Good. Come up with your list, your 5 questions, your top 5 questions. Okay. So really spend some time looking at these cameras and coming up with what are your really good 5 questions. If there's questions that you think you can figure out, don't ask those. Ask the ones that you really have good questions on. Okay. Let's see. Top 5 questions. All right. Your support teams. Identify and list 3 to 5 people that you can use as talent or models. Identify a list of 3 to 5 people that can help you shoot video. Okay. And then the last one, of course, you're going to shoot 30 seconds of something that has meaning behind it. Okay. That's probably the most important one. However, they're all important. And of course, you're going to email your answers and your videos to cpride@bcatv.org. Any questions so far? No? Am I boring you to death? That's the big question. You're not bored. Are you excited about video?
Super excited.
Super excited. Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear. So I'm going to end this episode on that note. We're ending early, and that's fine. As you can tell, the class is not about this 1 hour. It's about you getting out and playing with your cell phones or the video cameras at BCA and making video. Okay. For this last part, if you have any more questions, I'll stick around for a little bit. However, other than that, I say we're ready to rock and roll. Are we good? Okay. You have your homework assignment. And on that note, I'm going to leave you guys, and I will see you all next week.